You are listening to the Space-Tastic Mysteries podcast. We are in the middle of the SpaceBase LVN Novel 2 series now called Strange Phenomena, which is the second novel in Anna Gale Line's SpaceBase LVN series. This is episode 16 to drop in. If you have not subscribed, do so now, and if you are on YouTube, hit the bell to be notified of new episodes.
I know why. Yes. I know everything about you since we married 20 years ago, I answered, running my hand over my stomach. I know you are not a morning person, that you are grouchy before your first cup of coffee. I know you hate spicy food. I know you feel that your relationship with our kids, especially the twins, is not as close as you'd like. I know what you like and I know that your biggest regret is not marrying me sooner. I watched Drew open his mouth to speak. If the fact that I have spent time in the facilities vomiting because of morning sickness and the Revantio doesn't convince you that I am the one, the only Alexandria Madrid, and that I am pregnant with our child, then do a scan of my DNA, because at a cellular level, I am still me. I never said you were not you. I was making a point that you and Ali could be fakes. Okay, that does sound like I am saying that you two are not who you say you are, Drew stammered. He shot me a pleading look and insisted, I meant that anyone could be one of these people. I would quit now, Johnny decided, because the more you say, the worse her look is getting. I would stand up and leave the room until she does not look like she wants to rip your face off. Alex, I am sorry. All of that came out wrong, Drew pleaded, staring at me. What can I do to make you not mad at me? Do a DNA test on me, the baby and Ali on the cellular level, I advised him, holding his gaze. Then it will be documented who the real people are. Tony turned and addressed Drew. I'd do what she is asking. According to these documents, it was the only way they were able to determine real from fake. Let's hope that is still the case. Drew came over to me and snapped a Diane monitor over my arm. I swore he hid them around the quarters, as he always seemed to be able to produce one when he needed it. He ran his fingers over the screen, selecting different colors on it. I saw information flood across it. You and the baby are indigoid. Baby Sophie is half orthoid. She is doing well, but I am concerned because your temperature is spiking higher than is normal for an indigoid. The hairs on the back of my arms stood. I could sense fear and terror coming from my crew. I turned my terminal so I could see what was occurring in Command Central. I saw my grandparents and several other prominent members of the Supervisors storming Command Central, holding weapons on the Command Central crew. My grandfather said in a low voice, "We are in charge. The Freedom Alliance is out. We are in charge of this space base now. You will do as you are told, or we will kill you." Okay, we need a plan of attack, I maintained, then called General Graham to apprise him of the situation. I followed that with calls to my senior staff members who were not in Command Central. After that, I put alerts on the crew members' QuanPads that made them aware we knew the happenings in Command Central and were devising a plan. I waited for the senior staff to arrive, then showed them the footage. Now, we have intel that these could be beings that are hosting another race that can shift themselves to look like other people. You all were on board when this occurred 10 years ago, so I do not have to explain these beings, or explain how dangerous they are. Lieutenant Colonel Jade Scott, my first officer, a dark-skinned woman with curly, black hair framing her oval face with thin eyebrows and deep, chocolate-colored eyes, dressed in a light green muscle shirt and jeans, remarked, "I remember they killed Colonel Franklin." Major Isaiah Zay Mitchell, my science chief, a tall man with a long face with a square jaw and Anglican nose, agreed. They sealed the doors to Command Central as they are doing now, and turned off the life support system. They locked us out of the computer system. That is why I have gathered you here. We need to come up with a plan to fix this problem before it gets to that extreme. First, I need engineering to prevent them from locking us out. I don't care how you do it, but we have to remain in control of the computer system. Major Brooke Reed, my engineering chief, with her light brown curls cascading about her shoulders, heart-shaped face and small, delicate nose, looked at me and proposed, "What if we make them think they are in control of the system while retaining control?" I wagged my thumb at her. I like that idea. Lull them into a false sense of security. She smiled, then returned, "I aim to please, ma'am." I turned to Drew and said, I need you to figure out their kryptonite. Kryptonite, he countered, staring at me as if I had lost my ever-loving mind. Their Achilles heel, I insisted. He still stared. Tony said with grave deliberation, she wants you to figure out their weaknesses, so we can manipulate them. He shook his head as he met my eyes. Why didn't you just say that? Drew demanded, tilting his head, giving me the side eye. Tony persisted, she did. I put up my hand. Okay, you two, everyone, focus. We need to get into Command Central, and since they have sealed the doors, we are going to need to crawl through the access tunnels above Command Central and drop into it through the vents. The problem is that we cannot do that until we have a plan of attack, until we know their weaknesses, or we are going to get taken over by them as well. We could work on overriding the doors, Major Reed proposed, looking over at me. I agree that would be a good idea, but that is going to leave us in the same situation, I returned, moving my eyes over all the senior officers. We need to know what we are going to do once we get in there. We cannot use our weapons because it is going to destroy the hosts as well as the symbionts. These hosts are people who are the India 7 supervisors. Although since these people can project themselves as anyone, Tony contended, running his fingers through his hair, who knows if they are the supervisors. However, we still cannot take a chance, I maintained, shooting Tony a warning look. We are trying to minimize as much loss of life as we can. Can we flood Command Central with a substance that will essentially stun everyone in there until we can figure this out? Security Chief Jordan Garcia, a lighter-skinned African woman who I knew to have an African mother and a Latino father, suggested, locking eyes with me. We can equip everyone who drops in on Command Central with stun guns as well. She had a long nose that highlighted her delicate, oval face. With her long, brown hair falling about her shoulders and her thin, muscular frame, people did not take her seriously until they saw her take down criminals and solve crimes. We could fill Command Central, Drew posed, looking at the group, with a tranquilizer or muscle relaxer. Start putting together your plan to stun them, I decided, looking to Garcia, and get 5 stun guns because you, me and 3 of your security personnel are dropping in on Command Central in 1 hour. Drew protested a little too loudly. Colonel, with all due respect, you are not going. You are still running a high temperature and, Sophie. I understand your objections, I told him, staring in his direction. But this is an alpha alert, and the place of a colonel during an alpha alert is to be leading the charge. And that is where I will be. He opened his mouth to protest, but I raised my hand to stop him. Don't, wait, if we flood Command Central with a substance that stuns them, wouldn't that also stun us as well when we drop into Command Central? Couldn't we wear protective suits that will render us unaffected by what we stun them with? Or, Zay replied, meeting my gaze, we stun them, then turn off the flow, so that we can go in unscathed. What are you trying to prevent Dr. Morgan from telling us? Who is Sophie? We rig up weapons that are stun guns and are able to spray in one long continuous sweep, Reed proposed, then stops. However, it is going to take an hour or 2 to be able to create it. I nodded. We need it as soon as possible, I responded, moving my eyes to her, but it seems like the safest option. Go ahead and work on that. In the meantime, I am going to rig up a fever-reducing headband for you to wear, Drew decided, staring at me, because if you are going to do this, I need to keep you and my baby safe. Drew, I screamed, raking my eyes around the group. You knew I didn't want that revealed yet. Our family is one thing, but, Zay countered, wagging his thumb at me, that's how the twins' parentage came on your radar because, turning to Drew, he probably accused you of an affair once he realized you were pregnant. Isn't this a high-risk pregnancy? Not for an indigoid. We have children later than Earthoids. I don't want to discuss this, I advised the group, who congratulated us and high-fived us, right now though. We have more important things to attend to, like the people taking over my Command Central, and holding our crew hostage. I wish one of my gifts was the power of invisibility because we could have moved into Command Central without anyone noticing. I don't know any indigoids who possess that gift. Then I cleared my voice and told the group, go and work on your projects. I want updates in 1 hour. 90 minutes later, I found myself moving in the access tunnel above Command Central. Reed devised a weapon to stun the people in Command Central while we dropped in and tried to stop them. Once posed above Command Central, I charged Reed over my comm. Now. I will tell you when it is safe, Reed told me. Once we got the all clear, we opened an access panel. I lowered a ladder that was attached to the tunnel. I moved down it, glancing at the ground where I saw everyone either slumped onto their stations or on the floor. Reed, when will access to the computer system be restored? Working on it. Give me a few minutes, came her response. I jumped onto the ground and walked over to the nearest station, awaiting her command. I watched several security officers descend the ladder. Okay, I want someone to try to pull the doors open. I have security camping outside the doors, I charged the group, to take custody of these people until we figure out who is who and what is going on. I watched as 2 security officers moved through the people and to the main doors. They tried to open them as I danced my fingers over the workstation. I moved my way in the safe mode to see if I could try to block access to anyone but me and my senior staff. As I did this, working with a code, I heard Zay call out, "We cannot allow you to stop us." Before I could look up, several members who appeared to be members of my senior staff, Brooke Reed, Zay and Jordan Garcia, pounced on me from above, tackling me to the ground. I kicked Jordan, the center person, off of me, while Zay tried to choke me. I grabbed his hands and brought up my legs to my chest before extending them with force, colliding with his abdomen. He flew into a nearby workstation, hitting his head and falling to the ground. Brooke held a gun on me. Looked like a 9mm. I knocked the weapon out of her hand. We both reached for it. I grabbed it, and she tried to get it from me. She retrieved it. I tried to seize it, causing us to roll around on the floor. I gained control and the gun. She punched me. I punched her. She kicked me. I kicked her. I mirrored her every move while the security guards at the doors rushed over and handled Zay and Jordan. Then I flipped her over, so that I hovered over her with the gun to her head. "Who are you really?" She did not speak, just staring at me. "I figure you have either taken over Major Reed's body and are a symbiont, or you are someone else, and you are projecting yourself as Major Reed, and you have either killed Reed or are holding her somewhere." I shook my head and said with grave deliberation, "Either way, I have to stop you, and I swear if you hurt any of my crew or if you were the one who killed Renata Camry," watching Reed's face contort, "I will make sure you do not continue to torture people."
You have been listening to the Space Tastic Mysteries podcast. If you'd like to learn more about Anna Gale, you can go to AnnaGaleLines.com. It's ANNAGAILLYNES.com. And there you can download the first book in the SpaceBase LVN series called The Last Chance Station for free. You can also buy her other science fiction books on the website, Amazon, BN.com, Lulu, and many other online outlets. Also sign up for the newsletter to keep updated as to what's going on in the world of the Anna Gale Lines podcast, her motivational podcast that helps women live significant lives, and Space Static Mysteries podcast. Follow her on social media, Lady Anna Gale on TikTok, Anna Gale Lines on Twitter, and Anna Gale Lines Artist on Instagram. Join our Facebook page at facebook.com/author Anna Gale. Thank you for listening, and thank you for being you.